Welcome to another episode of IWING Marketplace Chit Chat. My name is Ivan Yengia. I created IWING Marketplace app and website with this interview to showcase businesses and business owners that are doing amazing job out there. A lot of time they go unnoticed, and people don't know them, people don't know their story. So our platform is here to bring them to light. And today we are with Denis, who is a realtor in New Mexico. If you watch this interview to the end, you are going to learn a lot about New Mexico. You're going to learn about real estate investment. You're going to learn about how to buy properties out there in New Mexico because Dennis has been a realtor for a while now and he's doing an amazing job. Thanks for joining us, Dennis.
Well, thank you very much, Ivan. This has been a long time coming. Thank you for having me on IWING Marketplace
It's
today. I'm always excited to talk about real estate and New Mexico.
I love that. I love that. So sometimes, before getting into a new field like real estate, right? We always have like doubt, like, is this going to work? Is that something that you came across when you were thinking about going into real estate?
Oh, definitely. It's a big deal, right? Uh, there are a lot of realtors around. So you always wonder, is it going to work? What if it doesn't work? I mean, nobody likes failure, let's be honest, right?
Hmm.
But I trust the education I got. So there are many ways to become a realtor or a real estate agent. Uh, but I went to the University of New Mexico. That's where I took my real estate course, and I got a solid education from there. And I trust my education. And even after I became certified, I didn't stop there. I kept studying to improve my skills, and it turned out great. So I'll just use this to say we will always have doubt to start whatever we want to, but trust the process, do your research, and what's the worst that can happen, right? It doesn't work out, you're not gonna die, and you pivot and do something else.
Wow. I love the fact that, you educated yourself really well before you got into, the field into real estate itself. But let's take it back to the beginning. What really inspired you to get into real estate?
So it's a very interesting story. So I used to live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I went to this apartment complex to rent an apartment because I had just moved to town. And when I went in there to rent, they had a vacancy. They needed a janitor, somebody to clean apartment units. This company is called Star Point Properties. They were out of Beverly Hills, California.
Mhm.
So I came to rent an apartment and I saw a job. I applied for the job because the lady told me as an employee, I will get 20% discount on my rent.
Wow.
So I took that job, uh, and that's where I really saw the power of real estate. So this company, they were based out of California. They had apartment complexes all over the country. And then I would be the first one to come into the office in the morning to sweep. And when I open the door, there will be like, especially in the last week of the month, once I open the door, there's like a bunch of checks flying all over the floor because people will come in and drop their check after hours and also on weekends. So I'll gather all those checks and then I'll put them on the manager's table. And I saw how much money this company was raking in from this unit, how long they had owned the unit, and that's my first exposure. And I was like, wow. I started asking questions. The manager was a really good guy. He was very open and he like really schooled me in real estate. I was like, okay, I took all those knowledge, but to do real estate, you have to have some money.
Right.
So, I went to school, trained, became a nurse practitioner, uh, had a job, was making money, and then I started using that money to invest in real estate. So that's basically how I came into real estate.
Wow, amazing. And let's go back to, what you were doing before real estate. You mentioned California. How did you find yourself there, or what was happening to you during that time?
Sure. So I was not based in California. The company was headquartered in California, in Beverly Hills.
Mhm. So what was your
So
life before? Yeah, go ahead.
so my life before that, this was about 2009, 2010. I was just still a struggling young man, uh, trying to make life in the United States. Uh, I was still in school, studying to get my degree, and I was going to school sometimes online, sometimes part time, prioritizing jobs so I could pay my bills and support family. So that's what I was doing. I was in school while I was doing this job.
Nice, nice. I love the fact that, you've studied in different fields, from nursing to real estate. And, you know, why did you decide to go into nursing? And was it just to get the money to invest in real estate, or you had the passion for nursing? And how is the skill, from nursing transferable to the real estate that you're doing now?
Sure. So your question is in two part. Why nursing? So
Mhm.
the orientation that a lot of us Africans get right when we come here, the
Mhm.
people you meet,
Right.
what they are doing, you copy from them, and then you do that. Uh, Initially, when I came into the country, I was studying business at New Mexico Highlands University, and then almost everybody I met was a nurse. So I was like, well, and they are doing well, and they oriented me towards that. So I went to school and got a degree, started working, even went to the level of a nurse practitioner, as I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
And then with that, I was able to raise income. Now, you talk about the relationship between nursing and real estate. Uh,
Right.
in nursing, you have to be disciplined, you have to be ethical, you have to be honest, you have to be hardworking. All those things directly translate in real estate. And you have to be patient, right? Things don't happen overnight. So you bring those skills from the healthcare background into real estate. It has really, really served me well because I'm patient. You keep studying, you listen,
Wow.
and you are disciplined. And above all, you're very ethical. You are reliable. People can depend on you. If you tell somebody that I'm going to do this, you stick with your word, even if it's difficult.
Right. So when you get into real estate, how was the first 6 months? How did you get your first clients, and how has it been since then?
Sure, it's actually interesting. Uh, my first client, when you come in, you are new, people don't know you. It's difficult, and I went in there. I wasn't uh, naive. I definitely knew that it's not gonna be an easy walk in the park. So I just put myself out there, talk to people. And this is a guy I know who've done some other businesses in the past. And I was talking to him, and he was like, "Hold on a minute, really? Yes, really? Yes. Your license?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Okay, I have a house for sale." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Let's go see it." And that same day, I got the listing, put that house in the market. Your name is in the system, and that's how you just keep going. And then, you know, I really marketed myself among the African communities because I'm one of them. I speak their language. I know where they are coming from. Uh, we've all come here for the American dreams, and down the road, I ended up naming my brokerage American Dream Properties.
You have a brokerage.
Correct. So after about 4 or 5 years of working for three different brokerages,
You're right.
I decided to go on my own. Uh, So in New Mexico, you start out as an what's called an associate broker. You have to have a supervisory broker.
Hmm.
And then after 4 years, I petitioned to be a supervisory broker. They call it qualifying broker. So I could own and run a brokerage. So I decided to open my own brokerage. And it's just been great ever since I did that. I'm in charge of everything. When I used to work for different brokerages, people have to sign off on certain things that you want to do, like marketing, for example. What
Right.
I'm doing now with you, I would have needed to submit paperwork or application to my boss
Hmm.
to certify everything and authorize me to go on here and speak, given that I'm working for them. But now that I have my own thing,
Hmm.
I can easily make decisions without necessarily consulting a bunch of people. And I just find that I can spend more time with the clients. I control the way the brokerage function. I just think like my customers are getting better services with me running my own brokerage because I
That's
call the
amazing.
shots. I make all the decisions.
That's amazing. So,
Yes.
most of us from Africa, what is the hardest truth about real estate, that can help us? Can you give us the hardest truth?
Sure. The hardest truth might actually turn out to be a myth that a lot of us have, that it's not attainable, it's very expensive, it's for rich people. You have to have a certain level of qualification. Uh, you have to have lived here for God knows how many years. So there is a lot of misconceptions and mis and there's a lot of misconceptions that a lot of us have about real estate. And I do a lot of outreach activities to different African groups to educate them that, hey, you have a job, you're making this much money, you can definitely buy real estate.
The baby is like, I have to put my voice in this.
She's a daddy's girl.
So, for us Africans, right, what mistakes do have you seen us making when it comes to real estate? Not only in New Mexico, but everywhere in general.
uh, Number one mistake is not buying early enough when you initially were able to buy or eligible to buy. A lot of us put it off. I would buy it when I get married. I'll buy it when I start making this amount of money. I would buy when I move to this city. There's a lot of things that makes us to put it off.
Hmm.
But the truth is that you can always buy and sell later or rent, right?
Right,
Because the earlier you buy, you can start building equity earlier.
right.
And that's money that we are leaving on the table.
Hmm.
And you don't have to be so sophisticated to buy. You can start out not making a lot of money driving Uber or door dashing or working as a CNA, whatever. You could start out buying a condo, right? You don't have to jump to buying a house. You could buy a condo to begin with,
Right.
and then down the road, you can upgrade into like a single family home. Actually, I know somebody who, when he was working as a CNA, bought a condo. 4 years down the road, became a nurse, moved into a single family house. That condo has literally doubled in price. He's actually
Wow.
getting cash flow from that condo to help pay his mortgage in the single family home. Now, had he not bought that condo, look at the amount of money he would have been losing.
Wow.
So just talk to somebody who is in real estate. Like, there's no harm, there's no consultation fee. Just look at my situation. This is what I make. These are my plans. Do you think I can do something? And let them educate you. You may just be surprised.
So you mentioned about you doing a lot of outreach, a lot of marketing. So when you go out to our brothers and sisters out there, what do you usually tell them? Can you give me like a summary?
Sure. So I tell them that real estate is one of the best way to build wealth in the United States. and we shouldn't shy or keep ourselves out of that process. We work hard, we pick up extra shifts, we make all this money, but a lot of times we don't own things to show for the hard work that we do every day. So I help them decode, answer all the questions that they may have. Sometimes people come to New Mexico, they are not sure they want to stay here. Maybe they came from some more sophisticated place, and it's like, well, it's a little slow here. I'm not sure if I want to sell, if I want to stay. But then 5 years down the road, they are still here. So I
Right.
tell them, just buy if you are eligible to buy. And if you want to leave, if that happens, well, just call me. Hey, Dennis, you encouraged me to buy. I don't want to be here anymore. How do I get out? We can look at the numbers and decide if it makes sense for you to rent or if it makes sense for you to sell. Either way, if you rent or sell, you will still be making money.
Wow. So let's talk about the New Mexico real estate market. How is it like, and why will you encourage someone to buy there? And is it
Sure.
a good route to invest? Like people that are in different states, can they buy for investment purpose?
Sure. So I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to be honest. The market is not as glamorous, so to speak, compared to, like, say, the Midwest, right? The Midwest is cheaper. Sometimes people are surprised when they come to New Mexico, the prices that they see. But what I can tell you is that the appreciation here is good. Certainly not as good as California, but if you consider the cost of living and the appreciation that if you buy in New Mexico you get, it's not that bad. Actually, it's good. And take it from me, I have done it a couple of times, so I know what I'm talking about. And certainly I would encourage people, but you have to do it right? You have to talk to a local real estate agent who knows, because the New Mexico is New Mexico is the fifth largest state, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of surface area, but with
Wow.
only 2.1 million people thereabouts.
Wow.
So you have really, really cheap markets and you have really, really expensive markets.
Wow.
So you could go from $120,000 houses in one part of the state to $3 million houses in another part of the state,
Wow.
all maybe within 250 miles radius.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to talk to somebody who is local, who knows the market, who can direct you where you can get the best bang for your buck. But certainly, it's a very interesting market. If you look at all our neighbors, say like Phoenix or
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, Utah, they are getting a little bit more expensive with the influx of people from California. So we are beginning to get some of that traffic from California. And so the prices have been rising like the past post-COVID, around COVID to post-COVID, the prices have been rising, but we are still relatively affordable compared to our neighbors.
Nice, nice.
And for what it's worth, another advantage for people who may consider moving here, New Mexico is the first state in the whole country that just passed a policy offering free childcare to everyone, regardless of income. Secondly, if you graduate from a New Mexico high school or you're a New Mexico resident, you get free college tuition in all of the state universities.
Wow. Free college tuition. Guys, if you're
Correct.
watching this and you're thinking of where to raise your kids, I think New Mexico is giving right now.
I mean, think about it.
Please.
Like, what's the cost of childcare where you are? I mean, maybe 1,200 to even 2,000 or more, some places per child. And then here, it's free. The state government pays for it. And think about your kid graduating high school, going to a state university like University of New Mexico or New Mexico State or any of the other state universities. tuition free. Think about that. They don't have to take up student loans. So that's right there. That's money you as a parent you're saving.
That's amazing. I mean, that is really amazing, given the high cost of life in New York, Maryland, and most places. Even just having daycare to keep kids. I mean, it's a fortune. You know,
It is. New Mexico is a hidden gem. A lot of people fly over us on their way to Las Vegas, Nevada, or California, but uh, it's a good place. I've been here for some time, and I've really seen how things have evolved.
nice. So this questions now is short answers question, and make it sweet and nice. So what types of
Sure.
clients do you specialize in? First time buyers, investors, luxury relocation? What type?
I specialize in all of the aboves. I'm not so much in the commercial space. I'll do one of those here and there. It's not really my thing, but I have colleagues who are like primarily commercial, but I mostly specialize in family residential as well as investment properties. And
Nice.
if you are relocating, give me a call. We'll talk about your options. And if you just even want to find out, like, can I get a job? I was well, I'll stop there. You said it was short questions,
No, go
short
ahead.
answers.
Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead. That's a good.
no, and also there is a ton of jobs, a lot, a lot. I was looking at six biggest employers within 100-mile radius of where I am, and I see about 3,000 vacancy among all those employers. So whether you are in tech, IT, human resource, skilled trades, healthcare, you name it, you will certainly find something.
Wow. What experience do clients get when they work with you?
Well, when you work with me, we have a one-on-one consultation. I listen, right? I don't talk much. I let you do a lot of the talking. That way, I can really understand what is it that you want. Because when you understand what the client want, then you can, offer them things. You can be more targeted. You offer them things that they are really looking for. I don't want to take a client all over town showing them a bunch of houses that doesn't meet their taste or their need. So when they work with me, they get that one-on-one attention. I will pick my phone. I will respond to your text. I will respond to your emails.
How do you make the buying and selling process easier for clients?
By having that first consultation, we discuss quite a few things. I do like a structured intake, make sure that they are eligible. I don't want to waste their time or my time or give them false hope. Uh, and this is something that I have learned over time. Initially when I just started, I used to be just excited. Somebody wants to buy, I just take them out, start showing them houses. But you want to hold on, talk to them. Are they pre-approved? Have they talked to a mortgage banker? How much house can they afford? You take somebody out, you haven't done all those homework. They look at the house, they fall in love with it, they like it, they imagine themselves in that house, and then come to find out for whatever reason they don't qualify. Well, you kind of just damage, their emotions. So talk to them, one-on-one consultation, see what is it that they really need, and then you take them. And I have lenders that I could recommend to them. They can go with their own lender. Whoever gives them the best interest rate, actually encourage them to get at least two, to shop the mortgage, get at least two pre-approval letters. That way they can be certain that they are getting the best rate.
Why is having the right realtor important?
It is extremely important to have the right realtor, just because this is probably the biggest purchase, if not one of the biggest purchases you will make in your life. You really want somebody who is knowledgeable. The process can be very complex. From the outside, people may not know, but there is a lot of regulatory requirements that have to be met. It's not just about signing papers and exchanging money or checks and keys. There is a lot more that goes behind that. For example, negotiating the contract,
Right.
inspections,
Mhm.
appraisal, contingency. There's a bunch of things that goes in there. You certainly don't want to be in a court and not have a lawyer looking after your interests, right?
Mhm. So,
Yeah,
in our African community, I like to keep it among us because we have to learn this. We came from back home and we're settling in a new place. This
sure.
information is always very vital. What are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen people making when it comes to, home buying?
So one of the biggest ones I've seen is so people going to a builder without a realtor, and then when they get there, the builder tells them you don't need a realtor. You know how the process is structured in such a way that the seller pays the realtor, right? Not necessarily the buyer. So some builders, in order to save money, they will tell the client that you don't need a realtor. In exchange for you not using a realtor, I will give you this, this, and that. You think they are giving you a great deal, but there's a lot of pitfalls that could happen because that contract is written by the builder. So it's very tilted in their favor. So
Mhm.
with you not having a realtor to look after your interests, you may think you're if money on the table or be taken advantage of. And once you've signed on the dotted lines, there's not much you can do. So definitely go there with your realtor. Don't just trust what they tell you. Your realtor has a fiduciary duty. He actually has like a legal regulatory requirement to look after your interests.
Nice. I love that point, especially when you mention that a realtor will fight for your interest, because a lot of time, people will tell you all sweet things that they want you to hear. But when it comes to, your interest, they're not looking out for their interest. They already understand psychology. You were saying
It's
something?
business, right? Yeah, this business, they are in there to make money, but you certainly don't want them to take advantage of you. And I've seen that being done with somebody who was gonna work with me, but then that happened to them, and it turned out to be a little bit of a mess. But there wasn't much what much that anyone could do, and they just had to live with it. So definitely, if you're thinking about buying, talk to a realtor first.
Nice,
See what they can do for you.
nice. So let's talk about investing. I know you're a property investor. What advice do you have for someone who want to get in that field? And why is it important to get into real estate investing?
I would advise everyone to try it, but you have to do it right. Find a realtor who specializes. Not all realtors do investing. Ask a realtor, like ask them if they are also an investor, because if they are also an investor, they understand, they know the deals. Uh, it's a no-brainer. Think about this scenario. You buy this property for, say, for example, 200,000. Your mortgage is say $1,500, and you're renting it for say 1,900 or $2,000. So you're getting $2,000 from the tenant. You're paying the bank $1,500. You're having a cash flow of $500 every month. All you have to do is keep the tenants happy over time. They pay off this property for you. You've never lived in the property. All you did was put down the down payment. And if you don't want to manage the property, you give it over to a property management company and they manage it for you. So you're very passive, but it belongs to you. Now, real estate is a long game. It's not a get rich quick scheme thing, right? Look,
Right.
it's a long term. Always think long term, 20 years, 30 years down the road. You keep the tenant there for 25 years, they've paid it off for you. And now the property has probably doubled, if not tripled in value. So think about that money. So in addition to the tax breaks that you get, because the interest you paid on your mortgage are tax deductible,
Mhm.
you get appreciation, you get cash flow, the property is building equity. You will not be broke down the road during your retirement. So think about it as a long-term plan.
Wow. So for if someone like myself or anyone out there who want to start in real estate investing, how can they go about it? Well,
The first thing would be to talk to a realtor who understands real estate investing, who works with investor or who is an investor his or herself. They would likely tell you that you need a good credit, you need a stable job or business with proof of income, because those are the things that you would need to show to be able to get a mortgage loan for the property. And they would find the property for you. Typically, ideally, for myself, I always advise, or what I do, I look for properties that are in distress, right? Those are like diamonds in the rough.
Right.
I pick those properties for cheap. I fix them up.
Mm-hmm.
Fix them up, the value has already gone up. And then I rent them or I sell them, depending on the situation.
Wow. That's amazing, man. So for everyone watching, that is thinking about buying in New Mexico or they are elsewhere in the US that want to do business with you, what do you have to tell them?
Well, I'll tell you, just give me a call. It doesn't cost a thing, right? What's the worst that can happen? You decide not to do it, and we part ways. And just give me a call and tell me what is it that you're looking for. You don't have to necessarily want to invest in New Mexico. You could just like I have a general real estate question, and I'll try my best to answer. If I can't answer, I'll probably find you somebody local to connect you to. And just give me a call, shoot me an email or text, just like, hey, I have a question, let's chat, and I can be able to see what is it that you need and see if I can be of help.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about the real estate brokerage, right? How has that helped you, and how has real estate in general, helped you in your life?
The brokerage has helped me in the fact that I'm able to provide better and expedited services to my customers. That's the main way. I'm responsible for everything. If things go well, it is on me. I trust myself to deliver. When you work in a system, there are other hands involved. You hope they will do the right thing, but they may not always do it, and then it falls on you. And sometimes the customer may be blaming you, but doesn't understand what's going on in the background. But
Right.
I own my own brokerage. I call the shots. If it goes well, it's on me. It doesn't go well, it is on me as well. Now, as far as how has real estate helped me, it has helped me tremendously, and it can help anybody else. I'm not unique to this. I mean, go on YouTube, you would see all kind of people making videos about real estate and things like that. Some of them are not true. Some of them are true. Some of them are half truths. Ideally, you want to talk to somebody who has done it, and you have proof that they've done it, and they can help you do it. It's helped me quite a bit. I'll keep it at that.
Nice, nice. And before we go, let's wrap up with your real estate journey, like your struggle and where you are right now, like how many homes you've sold so far, and
I
just
did.
for people out watching.
Sure. I don't really have a count, to be honest. I would have to pull those statistics, but I've sold quite a few. As far as I understand, and I mostly sell in the African community. I don't have a number, but it's quite a few. My best year was actually, I think, 2024 or something like that. Uh, I did a few millions worth of real estate sales.
Wow.
Um, Sorry, what was the last part of your question?
Just something for people out there to inspire, to encourage.
I would say, we work so hard. Invest your money. Don't just keep your money laying in the bank. There's no point. What kind of interest are they giving you? If you are just starting out, you could do something called house hacking. You buy a multi-family unit, like a duplex or a fourplex. You live in one unit and you rent out the others. If you do it right, you may end up living for free or paying very little towards the mortgage because you're collecting rent from those other units, and that's how you can start building equity and living for cheap. So definitely consider real estate as part of your investment portfolio. It is part of most people's investment portfolio, and you should really give it a serious thought.
Wow. Dennis, you've taken us through the journey from when you started in California, just cleaning the office to, becoming a realtor and becoming a broker. Congratulations, man. I'm very proud of, what you've achieved, and keep going, keep supporting our community. And I like the fact that you're out there educating our community, Africans, and reaching out more to them, to sell. This is what IWING Marketplace is all about. That support to our community so we can keep moving up. And you're the right ambassador for that. Thanks for joining us, Dennis.
Thank you very much, Ivan. And this very last word, based on what you mentioned, that's the typical immigrant story, right? You come in, you have to do what you have to do to pay your bills and support family, but you don't have to end there, right? While you're doing that, keep looking up, learn what you can. And I got this, as I said, I went there to get an apartment and ended up getting a job, and I learned some. That's where they opened my eyes about real estate, and I finally cycled back into it, and I'm a big proponent of real estate now. So just keep trying to better yourself. You don't have to end where you are.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dennis,
you.
for joining us today. And thanks for always supporting iWing Marketplace, sharing our info, talking to people about iWing Marketplace. We see that and we thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much, Ivan, for what you do. I really appreciate this opportunity. And now, hopefully, I'll come back on the platform some other time again. I think half an hour is definitely not enough to talk everything, but we have to cut it at this point. So thank you. We'll be in touch.
Definitely. I'm always happy you have wealth of knowledge, and let's keep it short and hopefully another time. Thanks so much. And thanks, guys, for watching. We really appreciate. Please help us share this video. It's going to be on YouTube so that a lot of people can, digest this powerful information and be inspired. Once again, this is iWing Marketplace Chit Chat. Thanks for joining us, Dennis, and we're out. Wow, man.